So we're in the age of video game adaptations that are not terrible anymore. They're reasonably good to great, and obviously with Fallout being amazing, would you guys want to see a Elder Scrolls film or a TV show?
Yeah, why not? If it doesn't suck. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
it's done as well as the Fallout TV show. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
I would think it would be easier to do because Fallout's a lot more unique, whereas Elder
Tricky
Scrolls,
IP. Yeah, it's tricky IP.
yeah. So
I think the genericism of the fantasy would make it more difficult to make an appealing TV show. That's in
I'm
a
with you on that,
strange
Bruce. Yeah.
way,
Yeah.
that works against you, whereas it works for you in the video game.
I think it would be tough to make it not seem like just another one of many similar, generic, like to get across that this is Elder Scrolls, not just a Game of Thrones ripoff or a sort of Lord of the Rings ripoff or Wheel of Time, or there's plenty. I think that would be tough.
Yeah, that's a pretty
And
saturated market.
I would want it to be that. Like that's what I would want to see, is something that actually feels like the Elder Scrolls. But I think that would be tough to not maybe just to translate, but just to get someone who's on the TV side or whatever to, I don't know, to get it, if that makes sense, to really
To treat it right, because and it's not just
capture
a
the
matter of
essence of it.
understanding it. They also have to have the talent and the resources to be able to pull it off. I mean, obviously the Fallout TV show, they managed to pull off that level of humor, dark humor, and retro science feel and make that work. You need someone who has the talent to be able to do that, as well as someone who is very familiar with the Elder Scrolls as a series.
Yeah,
I think it would be unlikely to work, honestly.
that's tough.
Like, because you're going Fallout, what's Fallout going up against? Versus Elder Scrolls is going up against Game of Thrones, Lord of the Rings, like the real heavy hitters.
Generic part of it. That's the generic
Yeah.
part of it that works against you.
I remember Pete Hines saying years ago that they would only entertain the idea of an Elder Scrolls film if Peter Jackson was directing it, and that was when Peter Jackson was at the height of his popularity, right? Yeah, and I don't even think he directs anymore. He's like sitting on his.
You've also got to remember these TV and movie adaptations don't make a lot of money for the studios that license them.
But doesn't it have a knock-on effect though? Because a lot of people went and played Fallout as a result of the show. Did they not?
That's what they're counting on. They're counting on it as a promotional tool. But when you ship an Oblivion or better yet a Skyrim, I mean, we all know the numbers. It sold 25, 30, 35 million copies. Do the math versus what you pay at the store for that. And you get the idea of the scope of the money that's being talked about. And that's never going to come from a TV show in this day and age of 50 streaming services. It's never going to come from a movie where movies are struggling to still have an impact in the theater and have to go to those said streaming services. So they count on it as a promotional tool. Fallout, the video games, got a huge boost from the TV show. That's where Bethesda would have, and I don't know this for a fact because I'm not with them, would have had their financial impact, not as payments directly from the TV show itself.
Yeah,
Of course, for all we know, they're in the busy making Elder Scrolls TV show to come out along with Test 6. Like they could be. I don't know.
It could be. Yeah.
It does seem like a tougher thing to do than the Fallout, though.
And if they do it, I wish them all the luck in the world because I'd love to watch it.
Yeah.
So it would be difficult to pull off. And that's probably why Todd's resistant to it. Because I think
for all we know, he could be pitching it. I don't know.
Who knows?
Didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, with the success of the Fallout show, I would assume that calculation may have changed. Like, it's probably the other way around at this point, is people are pitching it to him.
And he doesn't necessarily make all the decisions. I mean, when Robert Altman was alive, Todd had a lot of influence, but there's still occasions where Robert said, "Sorry, Todd, this is happening whether you like it or not." And I would
Well,
struggle to believe that people at Microsoft would just do everything he said and never ever say, no, we need this for reasons X, Y, and Z. So who knows?